What a magical day. Today I am at Tates State Forest, one of my bucket list spots. Right when I moved down here to Florida, of course, I was doing my research on the skunk ape, cryptids, and really paranormal history. And I saw Tates on the map, and I knew there was something to it. I am so excited to finally be here with the boots on the ground. It's right after a storm. It's even drizzling right now, so things are weird. It is time to get wild. So you said you heard something the other night just from around here?
Yeah, me and a girlfriend of mine was, she goes fishing with me a lot. We was down there setting catfish lines. And it was something I ain't never heard before. And
Whoa.
I've been doing this a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I asked her, I said, what in the hell was that? She said, I don't know. I said, yeah, that sounded kind of funny there.
Did it sound more man-like or like a big cat or a little bit?
Squealing.
Whoa, okay.
Yeah. On down the river here from right here. Well, it's hard to say from here because the river goes, you know, like we was probably right in there in the river. The river's not very far down there.
That's where I was going to take this power line, because they say Sasquatch follows the power line. And as you know, CB Tate, he ran into some giants out here and it killed him after 7 days. So hopefully I don't last that long out there.
Into some giants, what?
Yeah, some giants that he kind of related to the old Native Americans and maybe like Spearfinger. And he said that an Amazon woman take care of them at night out here. So it's pretty interesting.
Well, I tell you what, right down there where we set lines, they call it Cooper. I ain't never seen Cooper, and I've been camping up here almost 50 years. But I live up here now. But if you'll go right up here, the next road to the right, not that little dim road right up there.
Yeah, the next major road.
It'll be a clay road. It's just right there at the bottom of the hill, right there. About, is that a car coming? I ain't got my glasses on.
I don't think so. Nah, you're good.
You see the bottom of that hill before it comes up to the next one?
Yeah, I do.
All right, it's right there. It'll be on this side. Take it. It's CR22. All right, I live down there and some other people. But take it. Go all the way to almost to the end. Like you'll be able to see the end.
Yeah.
And there'll be another road to your right. And it'll take you straight to that substation right there. And there's a boat ramp and then like another little place where people used to camp.
All right.
It's cool as fuck.
And is there any other weird stories that people have heard rumbling over there?
Yeah, that's down around. That's where I put my boat in and go. You know. Yeah.
See any large gators or hogs back here too?
Oh yeah, it's full of deer, turkey, squirrels.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is called they call it Womack Creek, but coming up, we all call it, I guess this is like be a country or southern slang. We call it Womack Creek.
Womack Creek?
Yeah, that's just how it was always out. I guess we always heard it. We called it Womack Creek, but that sign right up there will say Womack. I don't know how they got Womack out of Womack.
I love it.
But it ain't no telling.
Well, I definitely appreciate the stories, man. I appreciate you checking on me, because if I was broken down, yeah, I need some help out here, because there's no cell reception or nothing.
No, there ain't. There's not shit. We still got 18 miles to go to get to Carabel.
Yup, I know.
You're about midway between Carabel and Tologi right here.
Yup.
But yeah, I'm trying to grunt some worms, some bait.
Well, it was nice meeting you, man, and definitely good luck.
Name?
Connor Flynn. I run Bigfoot Anon, so if you can remember that, Bigfoot Anonymous. Just type into Google, YouTube, anything.
I got internet at the house.
Yeah, just look for the long-haired hippie dude from Ohio, looking for the Florida skunk ape down here.
All right, well, I was coming down there to put my boat in, and I'm gonna try to do it before dark. If I don't find some worms here pretty quick, I'm coming on, and then I'll be down there.
All right, yeah, I passed 22, so I had my eye on it, man.
Yeah.
I will see you soon. I'll keep an eye out for the yellow, man.
All right, Connor.
Have a good one, brother.
You too.
Later, man.
Yeah.
Wow, you never know who you're gonna meet. That's what's so awesome. Like I said to him, I am going to follow these power lines in this mud to see if I can lead to what happened to CB Tate. Tate's Hell State Forest, the Forbidden Swamp. Story started when Jebediah Tate married the love of his life, and they had little CB. CB grew up in the shadow of his father, and down here they harvested pine oil. They had a successful pig farm. Eventually, they met a Native American medicine man, and they worked up a deal for 1 pig each year and to stay out of the cypress swamp. They would be rewarded greatly. For 3 years, they obliged, and things were very successful. But then, things took a turn. Jebediah was tired of paying the 1 pig per year, and he refused. The medicine man said he would be cursed and would pay a great price. That year, the father died. CB was left to look after the farm and the mission on his own. Put out for a mail order bride from New York and got a German Jewish woman. Pretty interesting. Well, she couldn't eat pig, so CB had to find a cow. He broke the medicine man's rules and went in to that cypress swamp with his dogs. Shortly after, they started chasing a panther and left him out to dry. He wandered for the next 7 days through this 200,000 acre swamp. After a few days, he took shelter and said, "A cypress tree." He was bit by a venomous snake, and as poison went through his blood and veins, he started going mad. He reported a tall race of giants that were out here in the swamp, and also an Amazonian woman that looked after him as he slept. After 7 days, he finally ended up in the mouth of Carabel, far towards the coast that way. He crawled to a witness and said, "I'm CB Tate, and I just crawled out of hell." He died shortly after. It's really crazy, chilling, unsolved mystery. Was the Black Panther possibly a skinwalker or a shadow? Was the medicine man right about the curse? Or was it just a coincidence? But as you know, I don't believe in those, and everything's connected. And when you follow your third eye, your pineal gland, the synchronizations start to reveal themselves. There has been some recent skunk ape activity, encounters, and investigations right in this region. There was a Midwest team that just was right here within the past couple weeks. I'm kind of sad it didn't time up. It's pretty cool that the state forests and the national forests combine. If you do your research on Teddy Roosevelt and David Paulides, you'll know that these areas are known for missing people and also electrical anomalies. Is Teddy Roosevelt Trapper Bauman? Did he hunt all the dangerous cryptids and creatures into these protected preserves? The only way to find out is to hike it and explore it yourself. Stacy Brown's been out here. His headquarters is not too far from this region. He reported one sighting at Bloody Bluff. A guy named Virgil. He was driving there. He's from New York. Was coming down. He was checking things out. And he saw a giant 8-foot, 9-foot skunk ape creature. Just perched behind a tree near the landing. As he drove past it, it crossed behind him over the road. He floored it. He couldn't come back for 3 years. Now that was pretty crazy to hear. The creature must have been pretty stunning. Right here looks like a pretty fair size impression, especially compared to my size 13. But the little indentations right there look like it could be possible toes. Another reported sighting came from 3 hunters in this area that saw one cross across a wide lot. Sort of reminds me of Patterson Gimlin, because you don't hear many. Dang, this looks like a major footprint. Right there, looks like some toes, and it curls around like that. That is really cool. Again, much larger than my boot. Wow. What a magical evening it is already laying out to be. See, this is interesting right here. It is a power line between a national forest boundary and a state forest boundary of cursed swamp and soil. What I think is really interesting is the Amazonian type woman that CB said looked after him at night. Maybe it was a female Sasquatch. Maybe it was a ghost of a Native American. It could have been the snake venom just playing to a comfort in his mind. Regardless, it is truly fascinating. Years ago, a famous track was spotted in the Tates swamp. and it went viral on Facebook. There was also an encounter near McIntyre and 440 where those roads come together. There's many sinkholes in this area as well. There's a place called Emerald Sink that one of Stacy's buddies heard many knocks and also a strange buzz sounding. Now that brought me back to how they can perfectly mimic mechanical items, different animals, loved ones, pretty much any other sound out there in existence. Their diaphragms can create vibrations that could rumble your chest, create illness, confusion, maybe even communication. The Apalachicola National Forest, which is right there, is home to Kevin Saunders' encounter, which is famous on Bigfoot Odyssey. He spoke to a female Sasquatch using telepathy. She got to know him over the time he was hunting out there. She actually physically brought him to her family and introduced him to her parents. They warned him of his friend. And apparently, they were right. Sometimes you have to trust the forest, but other times you can't let the whispers lead you to your demise. You could feel a presence out here. I'm sure there's many burial sites and other sacred correlations. We are not too far from the Gulf, but we also are along the Apalachicola River, which that flows south all the way from Chattahoochee River and the Flint River up in Georgia. The Apalachicola is a perfect highway to lead the skunk ape down from Torreya State Park, where Stacy Brown got his famous skunk ape footage with his dad, and also the Ocheesee Pond, where the wild man was captured in the 1800s. What's really wild is the capture of the wild man was 1874, and they say that CB Tate situation happened in 1874 or 1875. So there was a lot of skunk ape activity and Bigfoot lore going down in this region. Hearing dogs bark and strange echoes in the distance. There have been dogman reports. Donnie Miller spoke of cat-like people that could keep up with cars going 50 or 60 miles per hour. And even frogmen that are nearby the Emerald Coast. with golf goblins, rumors of UFO bases underwater, and black choppers going over our forest at night. You really don't know what the possibilities are out here. But the forest heals. I can feel that and confirm that. There's tons of howls coming from that direction. So I'm just trying to search the wood line and see if anything crosses. Woo! That was a weird one. You could hear the dogs kinda, and then one loud howl kinda over it. Different pitches. I imagine this place gets really scary at night. I am leaving some lima beans out here for the forest giants. Dave Sheely down in the Everglades has been baiting the skunk ape for decades. And it's a very interesting tactic that causes a gassy reaction from the creatures. But it's also a good spot to bring them in. There's some deer. You can see their white tail. So that just shows how creatures can hide perfectly back here without giving almost any alert. This is an interesting downed tree. Definitely very well could be natural, but it's just got a weird vibe with the trail and placement. Very well could be a marker of some sort. This is definitely very thick. I feel for CB trying to survive through here at night. Definitely some nesting and bedding areas. Just really cool. all the different topography would allow for predators and prey to hide in nature. See, that sounds definitely dog-like. But the first one sounded like a mixture of an owl and a dog. It stopped me right in my tracks. And I just looked backwards and I thought I saw a large black shadow. It's no surprise I'm not alone out here in the Tates Hell swamp. Brought this cool gold coin with me, and I'm gonna gift it right inside of this tree. I hope one day that is either a cool discovery for man or a bond being formed between the ancient ones and us. More weird sounds. That was like a hiccup. I'm surprised the story of CB Tate in the Tates Hell swamp isn't told in more scary places and covered on podcasts and TV shows. But hopefully this will be the spark to more awareness for the high strangeness in this weird swamp. This area reminds me of the green swamp a lot. This is interesting. This little flat area. Lots of mushrooms growing there. Definitely all this exotic grass, shells, and mushrooms. More than enough to eat. for these forest giants. As we walk through this stained soil and cursed ground, let's try to get some answers from the past. See if we can communicate with CB, or maybe the Amazon woman, or Native American medicine man, Kirsten. Hey, CB Tate, are you out here? Is there any spirits in this swamp that could lead us to answers of what happened to Mr. Tate? Are these woods cursed? Is there any creatures out here? Is there anything we need to be worried about in Tate's hell? Is Jebediah Tate out here? Why did you stop giving the pig to the medicine man? Do you regret breaking your truce? If I was here after dark, would you kill me too? Maybe. Are the giants Bigfoot or Indian? Has there ever been any murders out here? Is there any spirits that need help? If there's any creatures out there, could you make a noise? Was CB the first one to perish in these woods? Or was there others? Who is the Amazon woman? Are there shapeshifters in these woods? Are there deer that aren't deer? Was this place cursed before the medicine man? CB Tate, are you out there? Is there a portal to hell here? Is this hell? Lots of strange frequencies. coming through. It's definitely no surprise, because this place is abundant in anomalies. I'm fairly certain that the orbs that appear in the Apalachicola National Forest surely reveal themselves in Tate's Hell Swamp. Definitely have the Pet Cemetery vibes out here. So I'm beginning to wonder what happens in the afterlife of creatures and people that are buried within these cursed sands. Hellbenders are combinations of witches, demons, and creatures of the night. You can definitely feel some type of dark presence, but it stays in the shadows because there is a natural light here and a balance. Makes me start to think there's an angelic and divine truce in correlation to all of this. But you can't let your guard down, because I still feel like I'm hearing whispers in the openings of the trees. Like Middle Earth and the wizardly world will show you, fact is stranger than fiction, and we are all seeking the sanctuary. I just hope we all find it in one piece. Good morning, y'all. Another day mudlarking, and we already have had some solid success. I like this one a lot. Buffalo Rock. 3 fluid ounces. Ponds, maybe, or similar to it. I like that one a lot. Love that. I love those squirt tops. They're just so cool. That's a good one. Ayer Hubbard. Ooh, that's a good stick right there. Yeah, I usually take the corners, and then when I walk back, I see a bunch of bottles. So today I'm just going right down Euclid, right down Broadway. Look at that. That's a heavy one. That's crazy. Ponds, there it is. Oh man, look at that. That is really cool. S&D 229. Oh shoot. Love that. There's a little plant being grew in this. That mud is in there. I found this cool Ford thing to start off my second bag. I honestly don't know what you're gonna find out here, and that's the best part. Rexall. I knew that one though. There's another Rexall. Very cool. I love my little ones. More of those I could fit in my bag. Look at that. Oh, that is cool. broken Coca-Cola. That's a sweet looking one. $3M. That's dope. I say it every time. I need to bring a screwdriver here. This is a good stick though. Here we go. I remember those ones that make me work a little bit. This one looks really cool, but it's been Delaware Punch. Dang. That's a cool looking one. I love when the dirt just pours out when it's not actually mud. Ooh, that one looked really cool. Nice. Perfect. Oh yeah. There's a lizard. Ooh yeah. Dope. And dope. I'd be dead if that was a snake. That lizard is awesome, man. He's jumping from branch to branch. He's showing off. Dang, that's a cool one. That's a really cool one. leftovers from last time. Florida store bottle. Nice one. Lambert Listerine. That's cool. Looks like the creature of the hole. It's been hitting the vices. Moraline. My friend Cass liked these ones because it's like a vase. Everybody's got different tastes when it comes to bottles. Me, I gotta carry it all the way to the car, so I like the small ones. That's cool. Oh yeah. Oh, that's a cool one. That's like Kevin Gates, man, out the mud. Like I'm from Toledo. Alright, that's heavy. Oh yeah. Well, when I find the little good ones on the way back. Like, you know what? I can carry that. It has gotten a lot easier though. The more I've carried, I've gotten a lot stronger. Endurance in my arms. Alright, final bag. Backpack one. So that means load this one up extra heavy. There we go. Silver nip. What did I say before? Something demented. Dang, that one was cool. The FW Fitch Company. That's cool. Cool logo. Oh yeah. That one had potential. Oh, I like the shape of that one a lot. I like some curves on my girls. Damn, look at that. But I also like them petite. Nah, I like them all different shapes and sizes. No discrimination on this end. Look at this. Yo. G526. Look at that. I love that. Glass Dr. Pepper. For anybody who's never seen it before. Oh, squirt top. Filled with sludge though. Gotta wait on that one. This one's mud. This one's gonna be hard to get out. I'll let it dry out. And you can't tell me that's natural. That's BS. That's what that is. Freaking chemtrails. They're trying to hide heaven. Trying to hide the castles in the sky. I'm so dang tired of it. Such a dope design. What's going on, y'all? It's Connor, and I'm here to read a chapter out of my book, Big Brother Bigfoot. Get yourself a copy. It's on Amazon. Washington Wild Thing. Washington, PA. The Washington Wild Things were one of my favorite baseball teams growing up. They were an independent minor league team that allowed you to get up close and personal with the game. My grandpa would take me out to the ballpark once or twice every summer, and we had many stories to tell. We have caught foul balls, gotten autographs, and even got to run on the field. But one night, on our way home, something happened that I will never forget. We both got to see the creature that the local ball team was named after. Mysterious monsters are no stranger to Appalachia. The eastern United States is filled with legends of snallygaster, wampus cat, and werewolves. The native tribes and local townspeople both have serious warnings of staying away from the woods when the sun goes down. There have been many mysterious disappearances through the ages that have been linked to these unexplainable beasts. Mountain Monsters filmed an episode in Washington County. They were hunting the Dust Man, the most agile and fastest Bigfoot in the Appalachian Mountains. In 2019, a truck driver on Route 70 watched a bear dart across the road at mile marker 3. He said the creature ran on 2 legs and had a long snout like a dog. I believe my grandfather and I both witnessed the creature that these men were talking about, but we called it the Wild Thing. After hitting Cabela's earlier in the day, Peepaw and I drove to Washington for the baseball game. I peered out the window and pointed at the deer we spotted. There was always a bunch in the outfields of the baseball fields. We passed the park where they played the Beast of the East tournament. I wonder where they got that name. We pulled past the mall and finally arrived at the stadium. We parked in the gravel behind the field, and I was always admired the house on the hill that could watch every game for free. We got our tickets, and I ran straight to the dugout. Peepaw went to the concession stand, and by the time I would see him next, I had a baseball that was half full of autographs, and I was best friends with the mascot. The Wild Thing was some type of wildcat. The game started, and we had good seats. The Wild Things were playing the Miners, and we were out to an early lead. The pitcher threw a gem, so the game felt like it flew by. We had the game locked up going into the ninth, and we started headed towards the exit while still watching the final outs. They popped out to the infield, and we ran for the car to beat the rush. We were westward, and I was ecstatic about the victory. I was gripping the laces on the ball, practicing different pitches, and admiring the autographs when my grandpa suddenly jerked to the left lane. I looked up and saw a deer angling right toward the road. I backed up in my seat and realized why I was on this suicidal path. The poor deer was being chased by this big, black, muscular wolf. My grandpa was flooring it when he switched lanes. He had already been in a bad wreck, and his Chevy Blazer rolled, and Grandma's Buick was not ready for any new dents. I turned my head back to see what happened to Bambi, but she had leapt back into the darkness, and so did her pursuer. My stomach ached for the deer, but that's just the way of the forest. My grandpa made a joke that being close to one seemed unfazed by the incident. He had seen many bears, mountain lions, and a plethora of other animals while hunting, so a wolf was nothing out of the ordinary. But I felt otherwise. The presence this creature held was unlike any animal in the wild. This animal knew what it wanted. It had a purpose. The wolf was using all four legs, but it looked similar to a human bear crawl. It may have been a werebear. I asked my grandpa if he saw the wolf, and he shook his head. Of course he did. He probably spotted it well before me. After hunting for a half century and being a Marine, he developed some keen skills. He mentioned that we have them the size of that on the farm as well. I wondered what he meant by that. Did he know this wolf was different? Were there lycanthropes lurking Brock Lidge? The same creatures that King Arthur attempted to train? The pets that Adolf kept? Maybe that's what dropped from the trees on Jake and I. The offspring of the Wild Thing. The creature from the hieroglyphs. Wow. Big brother, Bigfoot, Washington Wild Thing, baby. The PA monster.
The flesh of the unguided and non-believers fuel this void.
Connor, we found Bigfoot. It's taxidermy head. They said this is actually a deer's butt. You can see the tail that runs down, and then they just put a face into it. It's pretty cool.